Chapter 4. A Mad Tea Party. There was a table set out under a tree in the front of a house, and the March Hare and the Hatter were having tea at it. A dormouse was sitting between them fast asleep, and the other two were using it as a cushion, resting their elbows on it and talking over its head. The table was a large one, but the three were all crowded together at one corner. "No room, no room," they cried when they saw Alice coming. "There's plenty of room," said Alice indignantly, and she sat down in a large armchair at one end of the table. "What day of the month is it?" asked the Hatter, turning to Alice. He had taken his watch out of his pocket and was looking at it uneasily, shaking it every now and then and holding it to his ear. Alice considered for a little. "The 4th. 2 days wrong," sighed the Hatter. "I told you butter wouldn't suit the works," he added, looking angrily at the March Hare. "It was the best butter," the March Hare meekly replied. "It's always tea time with us here," explained the Hatter. "We've no time to wash things between whiles." "Then you keep moving around, I suppose," said Alice. "Exactly so," said the Hatter, "as the things get used up." "But when you come to the beginning again," Alice ventured to ask. The March Hare interrupted, yawning. "I vote the young lady tells us a story." "I'm afraid I don't know one," said Alice, rather alarmed at the proposal. "Then the Dormouse shall," they cried. "Wake up, Dormouse!" and they both pinched him on both sides. The Dormouse slowly opened its eyes. "I wasn't asleep," it said in a hoarse, feeble voice. "Tell us a story," said the March Hare. "Yes, please do," pleaded Alice. "Once upon a time there were 3 little sisters," the Dormouse began, "and the names were Elsie, Lacey, and Tilly, and they lived at the bottom of a well." "What did they live on?" said Alice. "They lived on treacle," said the Dormouse, after thinking for a minute or two. Alice gently remarked, "They'd have been very ill." "So they were, very ill." "I want a clean cup," interrupted the Hatter. "Let's all move on one place." "They were learning to draw," the Dormouse went on, yawning and rubbing its eyes. "And they drew all manner of things, everything that begins with M, such as mousetraps, and the moon, and memory, and muchness. You know you say there are much of a muchness. Did you ever see such a thing as a drawing of a muchness?" "Really," said Alice, confused. "Then you shouldn't talk at all," said the Hatter. This piece of rudeness was more than Alice could bear. She got up in disgust and walked off. The Dormouse fell asleep instantly, and the last time she saw them, they were trying to put the dormouse in a teapot. Chapter 5. The Mock Turtle's Story. Alice got into the beautiful garden at last, but she had to nibble a little of the mushroom so she could bring herself down to 12 inches so she could get through the little door. It was a lovely garden, and in it was the Queen's croquet ground. The Queen of Hearts was very fond of ordering heads to be cut off. Off with his head was her favourite phrase when anybody displeased her. She asked Alice to play croquet with her, but they had no rules. They used live flamingos for mallets, and the soldiers had to stand on their heads and feet and form the hoops. It was extremely awkward, especially as the balls were hedgehogs, who sometimes rolled away without being hit. The Queen had had a great quarrel with the Duchess, and she wanted to have her head off. After the game of croquet, the Queen said to Alice, "Have you seen the Mock Turtle yet?" "I don't even know what a Mock Turtle is," said Alice. "It's the thing Mock Turtle soup is made from," said the Queen, "and he shall tell you his history." They came upon a griffin lying fast asleep in the sun. "Up, lazy thing," said the Queen, "and take this young lady to see the Mock Turtle."